All right, let's talk about three tiny little words that can cause a surprising amount of trouble in English: a, an, and the. They seem so simple, but the rules, they can feel kind of confusing. But what if I told you there's one simple secret that makes it all just click? Well, stick around because we're about to solve this puzzle for good.
So what is the real difference between saying I saw a book versus I saw the book? I mean, they're both perfectly correct sentences, right? But they paint totally different pictures in your listener's mind. And understanding that difference, well, that's everything. It can really feel like you have to memorize 100 different rules just to get these right. But you don't, I promise. There's a single, simple logic that ties them all together. Okay, let's start by laying out all the pieces of this article puzzle. Here are our main players. You've got a and an. Those are our indefinite articles. Then you've got the definite article. And of course, the one we all seem to forget about, the zero article, which, is just a fancy way of saying sometimes we don't use any word at all. So how in the world do you know which one to choose? It all comes down to one simple question. This is the golden rule that's going to guide you every single time. Think about it this way: general versus specific. If you say, I saw a dog, you're talking about, well, any dog. It could be any dog in the world. It's a general introduction. But if you follow that up with, the dog was brown, you've suddenly zoomed in. Now we both know we're talking about that one specific dog you just mentioned. See the difference? And that's it. That is the one question you need to ask yourself every single time. Am I talking about something general, or am I talking about something specific? Your answer is the compass that will always point you to the right article. It's that powerful. Okay, let's see this in action. First up, the general family. These are the words you're going to reach for when you're not talking about one specific thing. This group includes a, an, and our good friend, the zero article. So when do you use which one? Well, for a single countable thing, like one teacher, you'll use a or an. But for general, plural things, like dogs in general, or for stuff you can't count, like music, you just use nothing. The zero article does all the work for you. Simple as that. But here's the classic curveball, right? We're all taught to look at the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. But U is a vowel, so why do we say a university? And H is a consonant, so why is it an hour? This is the spot where almost everyone gets tripped up. And here's the secret. It has absolutely nothing to do with spelling. It is 100% about the sound that the word starts with. University starts with a y sound. That's a consonant sound. Hour starts with an ow sound, and that's a vowel sound. So trust your ear, not your eye. All right, that covers the general team. Let's flip over to the other side. The article for all things specific. The one, the only, the. So the is our go-to tool for being specific, and it usually pops up in 4 key situations. First, when you've already mentioned something. Second, when there's only one of that thing in existence, like the sun or the moon. Third, when it's just obvious from the context, like please pass the salt, when it's right there on the table. And finally, with superlatives. The best, the tallest, the most interesting. Let's just zoom in on that second mention rule for a second. Notice the switch. First, I say I saw a movie. It's general. You have no idea which one I'm talking about. But the instant I bring it up again, it becomes the movie. It's now totally specific to our little conversation. All right, the theory makes sense, but how does this actually work in the real world? Let's use our golden rule to spot and, more importantly, avoid some really common traps. Okay, here's the classic. You might hear someone say this, thinking they're talking about the whole concept of music, but something about it just feels a little off, doesn't it? So what's the fix? Well, let's ask our golden rule question. Are you talking about specific music, like the song that's playing right now, or are you talking about music as a general concept? For a general concept you can't count, our rule is crystal clear. Use the zero article. So it's just, I like music. Okay, trap number 2. This one is a direct test of that sound over spelling rule we just talked about. It looks wrong and it sounds wrong, but we know exactly what to do here, right? We ignore the letter T and we listen to the sound. Teacher starts with that T consonant sound. So it has to be a teacher. Easy.
Now, this one's a little different. A lot of people say this, and it makes sense, because work feels like a specific place you go to. But this is a special kind of trap.
The correction is simply, I'm going to work. And here's why. This is what we call a fixed expression. In this context, words like work, home, school, or bed are treated more like general activities or institutions, not specific physical buildings. They're just exceptions you get used to over time. So, after all those rules and all the examples and the traps, what's the one thing you absolutely need to remember if you forget everything else? It all comes back to one single powerful idea. This question right here. This is the master key that unlocks the whole puzzle. Before you speak or write, just take a split second and ask it. Is this thing general or specific? The answer immediately tells you whether you need a general article like a or an, or the specific one, the. In fact, you can even rephrase the golden rule this way. Next time you write or speak, just ask yourself, does my listener know exactly which one I mean? If the answer is yes, use the. If the answer is no, you're in general territory. It really is that simple. And now you've got the key to solving the article puzzle every single time.
International.